Welcome everyone. Data privacy has become a major concern for business worldwide. And with evolving regulations like GDPR, CCPA, and India DPDPA, organizations are handling on increasing number of data subject access requests, or DSAR we call it. But here is the big question. How can companies stay compliant without draining resources? Today, we will dive into the true cost of DSARs and how business can navigate them efficiently. Those who are new to data safeguard, at data safeguard, we have developed the most comprehensive AI-powered privacy management platform of products to help organization meet information privacy, communication privacy, and individual privacy compliance. The platform is built using our homegrown AI engine. We call it CCE, Cognizable Computing Engine, to meet Global Privacy Act compliance in an automated manner. The platform can be deployed in your data center or your customer's data center or cloud container within 2 weeks, and so return on investment in 4 weeks. The seven core tenets of the platform, built upon the privacy by design framework, consists of universal consent management, confidential data discovery, privacy impact assessment, data subject access request, confidential data reduction, compliance audit, and data privacy management. All the modules are pre-integrated in a single Docker image and doesn't need any integration work from your technology team. So today we will be deep diving into the true cost of DSR and how business can stay efficient and compliant. I am thrilled to have my friend, a privacy and compliance expert, Aishwary Gupta, joining us from India. Aishwary, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Damodar. So giving me such type of opportunity to present myself in such a large audience. So yes, to introduce myself, I'm Aishwary Gupta. I'm a data privacy and compliance professional, having an extensive experience of 7 years in this field, and in data privacy domain, I was handling DSRs, conducting PIAs, DPIAs, and negotiating DPAs, and ensuring regulatory compliance and risk management so that companies can be compliant with the data privacy regulations in which jurisdictions they are working on. So over the years, I have worked with global organizations to develop and streamline their privacy regulations and frameworks, including DSARs process, ensuring compliance while minimizing operational burdens. Additionally, I am a course instructor on Udemy. So I prepare and create courses and upload them on Udemy so that our young professionals can navigate the complexities of DSR regulations. So yes, Damodar, like back to your question that DSR actually challenge compliance is a challenging that many organizations are actually underestimating it. So I would just say that while these requests empowers individuals, they are giving rights to individuals to handle, like they can exercise their rights. But when we handle these DSR requests, they come with lot of cost, including legal and operational cost, basically. So today we will discuss about that the practical solutions we can have to help business turn DSR management from a burden into a strategic development.
Great.
So yeah, so let me share a quick example that I have seen this thing in my over experience. Like let's suppose there's a SaaS provider and they are expanding their business globally. So
Mhm.
and when they are going globally, they started receiving many requests, like a lot of requests. You can say that 100 requests in a day. So how they thought, like they have a manual process earlier and they thought that they can survive on their manual process. But what happened that within a few months, their IT teams, their legal teams were actually overwhelmed. They were they starting receiving so much DSRs that it is not possible to burden down that thing. So they then realize that the importance of the DSRs. So that's why we will today explore practical solutions that business can take them and help to turn DSR's management from a burden into a strategic advantage.
Great point, Aishwarya. So let's get into the hidden cost of DSARs, right? So we will cover operational inefficiency, legal and compliance risk, and financial cost. So let's start by breaking down the hidden cost of DSAR compliance. Many business believe responding to a DSAR is just about pulling up data and sending it to a requester. But the reality is far more complex. Aishwarya, from your experience, what are some of the biggest operational challenges organizations face today?
Yeah, great question, Damodar. So I have seen the first challenges. That's a very big challenge as well. That is the data fragmentation, because if we see that business store their data on the multiple channels, multiple stores basically. So like let's take a example that there is a global retail chain. So like like they have multiple record of their customer, and the record is very scattered to them across CRM, multiple CRM systems, marketing platforms, and then the third party analytical tools. So when they received a DSR, it took their IT teams to track down relevant data so many days. So this is not only slow down the response time, but also increase the risk of missing crucial information. And then there's a manual bottleneck as well. So most organizations rely on outdated labor intensive workflows that slow down the responses times and increase cost. So like let's take an example about a bank. So that when bank receives 100 of DSRs in a month, and each request like legal and IT teams hours of it will take hours of review to in that review these requests. And like they will redact, they will compile the data, it will take a lot of time. So the efficiency not only increases cost, but also put the company at risk of missing deadlines and leading to fines under the several data privacy regulations. And let's not forget the compliance risk. Missing a deadline of failing to provide the correct information can lead a heavy penalties in many data privacy regulations like GDPR, CCPA, and now we are coming with the DPDPA as well in India.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think this is absolutely, and beyond compliance risk, there is also a financial cost, right? Let's say handling data subjects access request manually is very expensive, and as rightly you said, and companies spend thousands of dollars per request in legal fee, IT resources, and operational overhead. Not to mention a single data breach or a compliance failure can result in huge fines and reputational damage. Have you seen organizations struggle with this, Aishwarya?
Yes, Damodar. I have seen many companies underestimating the DSR cost. So that leads to resource restraint and compliance failures. Some organizations receive hundred of requests monthly, and it will take an average cost of $1,500 to $6,000 to like handle these requests. So obviously this will quickly becomes unsustainable for an organization. So like there's a multinational telecommunication company that received 100 of requests. So they spiked in DSR request, and thereby might be a situation that there can be a data breach as well. So their legal team was swamped, IT resources was stressed thin, and their external legal fees skyrocketed. So the lack of automation meant they were spending tens of thousands of dollars just to stay compliant. But now we can say that great news is coming from the AI sector, as you told.
Yeah.
So the automation actually can drastically cutting down these costs, so that business just actually reducing their cost more.
Absolutely, and we are into that. I was telling you, right? I mean, we are
Yes.
AI into data privacy, and of course, our DSR is fully automated. Okay, let's get into the power of AI. You touch upon that. We will discover further the power of AI and automation in DSR management. So, how AI and automation streamline DR responses and reducing cost and response time while ensuring compliance, and the real world success story. So the that brings us to our next point. How can business make DSR management more efficient? Ashwara, I know you have worked with AI power automation in privacy compliance, and how can AI help?
Yeah, sure. That's a great question, actually. So I will just say that the AI can automate many things like data discovery, data categorization, data redactions. So that will significantly reducing manual workload. Instead of legal teams spending hours searching for information, AI-driven platform can instantly locate relevant data, flag sensitive details, and auto-generate responses to the DSRs for the customers. So that ensuring compliance while saving time and cost. I have seen companies cut their DSR cost by 70% just by implementing the AI privacy, like data privacy solutions.
Absolutely, that's a game changer, and we are also into it. I also believe privacy by design should be a key strategy embedding AI-driven DSAR handling, within business workflows from the start, rather than treating it as a afterthought. Can you share any success story of companies doing this effectively?
Yeah, absolutely. So that I will just take an example of my previous client that was a very fintech startup.
Okay.
So they had just implemented the AI-driven DSR management. Before automation, each DSR took them an average of 20 days to complete. And after implementing, AI can cut down these manual work by five. Like it will only require to do complete a request only 5 days. So the system automatically scanned all the internal databases, pulled relevant data of the customers, and even redacted sensitive information. And not only ensured compliance, but also saved them the nearly 60% in operational costs. So if I will give you an example, like suppose that if a customer is making an access request, so is if you have a map the data correctly in your organization, all the CRM tools you have mapped the data, then it just like the automated response by tracking the email ID or the number or the name of the customer. The DSR management tool can send a automate message to the particular customer, and it will only take, I will say that the half an hour to close down the request.
That's great. So let's talk about the best practices and actionable strategies. Let's say how business can proactively prepare for DSAs and building a scalable AI-driven compliance strategy. And then we'll get into our final thoughts and key takeaway. So, Ishwarya, that's impress you. Before we wrap up, let's set some actionable best practices for organizations looking to improve their DSAR processes. So my top recommendation would be, let's not wait for a DSAR crisis to act. Business must build a scalable compliance framework with AI driven automation. What are your top takeaways, Ashurya?
Yeah, sure. So that's a very great point, Damodar. So I will just advise organizations to implement or invest in basically the privacy enhanced technologies that we call PTs. So I will just say that the AI can streamline compliance, but companies also need clear policies, cross-functional collaborations, and ongoing audits to ensure the long-term success of their privacy program management. Uh, Let me share an example with you that there should be a proactive approach to handle all the privacy programs. So like suppose that a healthcare provider we work with that knew that the DSR requests were increasing, so instead of waiting for a crisis, they built a scalable AI driven compliance framework. They trained their teams, implemented an automated DSR workflow, and integrated their systems for better data retrieval. When regulations become stricter, they were already ahead of the curve, avoiding fines and reputational damage. So that's a great move from them. And another best practice we can think about that think of DSRs not just as a compliance requirement, but as a way to build customer trust. A well-handed DSR turned, you can say that a capital customer into a brand advocate.
Hmm.
And DSR compliance shouldn't be burden; it should be a competitive advantage for your business.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think so. This is a fantastic discussion, Surya. Thank you very much, and I hope it has given everyone practical insights on handling DSARs efficiently. And thank you, Aishwarya, for taking time and sharing your experience with us. And any final thought?
Yeah, sure. So, to be honest, it was a very pleasure to meet you, Damodar. And to all attendees, start thinking. I will just say that start thinking about DSARs proactively rather than reactively.
Yeah,
Uh, and I will advise that use automation, AI, strategic planning to turn compliance into a business thoughts. And I will just want to leave you with a thought that the
yeah,
data privacy is no longer than just a legal obligation; it's a business advantage. And companies that get DSR compliance right will not only avoid fines but also earn customer trust and differentiate from competitors and improve operational efficiency. Because the last thing I would just say that the customer trust is more important to sustain any business.
Spot on, spot on. So I always say privacy is the first line of defense, right?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us today. Let's continue this conversation. Drop your questions in the comment and let's connect on LinkedIn. See you in the next session. I appreciate your time, Aishwarya, and
Thank
thank
you.
you for joining in.
Thank you so much.